Welcome back. We're on 59 Minutes and we are speaking to Josephine MACHARIA. She's written a book called, if you don't mind my saying, Your Mental Health is Important. And we're talking about why your mental health is important this morning. Before we took the break, I was asking you, what would you say would be the signs and symptoms that something ain't right?
Okay, that's a really good question. I can give you a couple. One, you'll notice isolation. So this person is withdrawing. They're not, if it's in a family setting where you once enjoyed the company of family, you're now choosing to be by yourself. And then you're not opening up. And then when you open up, it's just surface and not going deep into details. So there's withdrawal and isolation. You have, some people have certain mood changes. So it's very erratic. 1 minute you're happy, the next minute you're angry, and so people are there like, okay, are you okay? What's going on? And it keeps, and it's extended. And this is the thing, with all these symptoms, we're not saying the first time you see someone withdrawing, you're there like, aha, no. We are talking about extended.
You go around diagnosing.
You know, now you become the checklist doctor. No, we are saying if it's for extended periods of time, that's when now that should be a red flag to you. The next thing, excessive weight gain or weight loss. So all of a sudden, because then there are people who eat a lot when they're depressed and others who deny themselves food. Then you can have, and this is the thing that—
And that's a good point, because in this country, if you gain weight, we say,
you're well, you're doing well.
You're expanding.
You know, things are well. Not understanding. It's actually the opposite. Then you also have undersleeping or oversleeping. I see so many people on social media saying, hey, Team Insomniac, I'm not sleeping. That's not a good thing. Our generation looks at it as if it's something to celebrate, but the fact that you genuinely want to go to sleep and you can't sleep, it means your mind is working overtime. You're really, we are a generation that's very highly charged. You're always on. If you're not looking at a screen, you're looking at your phone. We don't know how to be quiet and zone out.
And the strain on the heart is ridiculous.
That's the thing. And other areas that people don't understand, right? There is a place where people disconnect from the things that used to make them happy, and at times from the things that are their responsibility. So you find people not showing up at work. You find people, I stopped going to church. I no longer go for things that genuinely used to bring me joy. I've lost interest in that. Then there's substance abuse. And we also have abuse in the sense of social media, which people don't talk about. You're constantly scrolling. That's a way of shutting out reality and just hiding instead of dealing. We've also seen cases of heightened alcohol intake, right? Also drugs. There's also what we call self-harm. And that's where people start cutting themselves because it's easier to numb the pain that way than deal. We also have people indulging in sex, pornography, and that's why cases of femicide, gender-based violence. What tends to happen, men, when they're going through mental health issues, they tend to react outwardly. So they become aggressive, they become violent, they become, abusive. But women tend to internalize. So they will keep it to themselves. She's then losing weight, she's overthinking, overprocessing, and just disconnecting. And that's why for men, it's easy for them to get to a place where it's so drastic that when they choose the route for death by suicide, it's very final. A woman may be there like, okay, I'll just take 5 pills. I really, for men, it's very final. So then—
That's why that rate is so much higher.
It's so much higher. And also because society does not give men permission to show their emotions and to deal with what they're going through.
You know, I saw a video of a guy, I think some years back. There was a gentleman who was working in town here, who was caught on video jumping from the 4th floor. I don't know whether you saw that.
But why would people record that? I heard of the story. I didn't know there was a video.
Okay, so I watched the video. You know, part of those things just trying to, you're trying to understand. Like you want to shout stop. But it took him 3 minutes before he jumped. And in those 3 minutes, his conscience never kicked in to say, don't.
Because at that point, his mind is thinking, being a man, I've played all scenarios.
Oh, by the way, it's not people shooting, it was a CCTV video.
So
that caught him.
you can
So
imagine.
there really was no one.
Imagine. So him being a man, because you're wired to think solution, he's weighed all options and seen this is the only way out. But sadly, if maybe he got to talk to just one other man or person to realize, oh, by the way, you're not alone, come, let me give you a solution. But it's a thing of expecting men to always have the solutions and then somehow expecting them to live in silos. So mwanaume ni kujitegemea. Think of the phrases we say.
True, yeah.
Mwanaume ni kujijua. It's never a band of brothers walking together. Ni kujikaza. That does not help. Yeah. There is something
and
that...
we've taken it even to funerals and death. Quite strong.
Yeah. But then what is he doing with his emotions?
Yeah.
So something that occurred to me is that for women, we have many avenues where we are able to express our emotions. For men, they are not. We need to start there and do it in such a way, yes, you're telling a man your emotions, but don't come to the man and say, it's okay for you to cry. You're causing me to undo an entire lifetime of how I was cultured. Maybe we use a different word. It's okay for men to talk. That I can hack. So it's even the way we are inviting them into this new normal that is extremely
like, you want to make us sissies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't, I mean, how do you want to emasculate me? No. So do it in a way that you're not emasculating me, but you're allowing me to deal and cope with the things I'm handling. Because if we continue to deny men that opportunity, they are the leaders, they are the fathers, they are the CEOs in companies, and as the leader goes, so the followers go.
It's very, very serious.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things we worry about so much is, you know, you open the newspaper, like even today's Nation, I was reading about these 4 young men who were murdered. And the rate of murder, suicide, gender violence, you know, domestic violence, abuse, all manner of physical. I think I did a study on the newspapers in the 80s and the 90s.
Okay.
Cursory look, actually, and the papers that we have today. And you know, the papers of the 80s and the 90s, most times, if they had gory stories, they were road crashes.
Very true.
You know, train crashes, road crashes. So, they would have the occasional, like we had, I think, a burning of a school at some point, but it was one, and it was a very big issue in 1994.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
Yeah? But nowadays, page 1, page 2, you won't get to page 3. You will see something. Somebody has killed the wife, somebody's in court about, a wife he killed, the husband has, something has happened. And it asks ourselves, what has happened to our generation? Because if supposedly we look at what you said, generation, the baby boomers and then this generation X that came, which is really my generation, and we endured a lot of, discipline,
True.
not just at home, even in school. True. Even the neighbor could beat you up, for... In
fact, there's a phrase my friend said that is so apt. Yeah. We were walking errors to be corrected. That's how we were seen, not children. We were seen as, it was always, na umefanya nini leo? You remember, it was, you're not a child, you're a walking error. Every time an adult sees you, they're like, what do I need to correct? Yeah. Which is true. And now I see this generation, of course our generation are always saying, this happened, the way we said, this happened to us, you guys, what's happening? But we have a generation that has been bombarded with an avalanche of information. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. My daughter asked me yesterday, she told me, Dad, do Kalis like milk? And then I was actually on the phone, and then I told her, yeah, they do. Then she said, why? And they said, never mind, let me Google it. Wow. Back in the day, it was, let me book of knowledge it. Remember? You go to the encyclopedia. Yes, But here's Google can give them an answer. Immediately. And the right one that you're afraid of even mentioning. So the avalanche of information has bombarded them. So the question is this: given the information they have, and the way we have, stigmatized mental health, and the fact that there's so much impatience even in our relations with each other, Yes. I get mad with you, I block you on Facebook, on Twitter, cancel you. WhatsApp, I cancel you everywhere. Yeah. We're not talking at all. Ghosting. Yes, ghosting is a thing.
Do you feel like with all that relation, is it that this generation that is here, that is the one that is committing suicide the most, you know? Can you imagine? They say 300 men commit suicide in Kenya daily.
Yeah, sad statistic.
300 is very high.
It's very ridiculously high.
It's very high.
And yet you're acting like it's just a number. It's not a number,
Yes.
guys.
In fact, for the president, I think, to even come out and say what he said,
Yeah.
he has the statistics at hand, possibly better ones than we do, and it's showing him there's problem,
Yes.
especially with this young generation. So, given that, do you feel like, what would you say is the pinpoint of the trouble that's causing us? Is it that we were never discussing mental health issues? You know, parents are also wondering, they're watching.
Yeah.
Is it that we have, and parents are at their wits' end. Tumetuma shule, we are paying school fees.
Like, what more can we do?
Yes.
You know what, Levi, you brought out something very interesting. I like when you did the memory walk down of the different generations.
Yeah.
If you think of the, and I don't call them older, but let's call them previous generation, baby boomers and Gen X, they grew up with an actual community, actual friends. When they liked, it was in person. When they shared, it was physically.
Yeah. The emoji was real.
The emoji was real. This generation, everything is virtual. So with that, it means, and this is what happened. Think of when COVID happened. We were told to isolate. We were told to social distance. We were disconnected from our world and the people the family we have chosen. Let me put it that way. Most of these young people have followers, 5,000 followers and above, 10,000, and that's their world. You share your life. It's almost like your life, you're living in a window. You share every little item. This is what I'm eating, this is what I did. And for us, it was, why are you sharing all that with total strangers? So for them, they live in a virtual world, which is good, where it's open and people are always sharing. But the downside to that is that they have grown up in a world where they are constantly being judged, being looked at, being compared, being like, you're never good enough. So today I post
And
this
it's on
selfie.
display
It's on display. Today I post this photo, which I thought was my best photo. Guys are there like, gosh, your eyebrows. Oh, that doesn't do. So people are always nitpicking on you. So they are living filtered lives. Where, you know, when you post and you're making sure the filter is right, your face looks,
the light has fallen properly.
That's
I don't
how,
get it by there.
yes,
Now I use the filter.
Yes, that's how their life, they live their life sadly. So we are a generation that knew how to sit down and have conversation. Even if it was not with our parents, the construct of how we were raised, there was always an auntie, an older cousin who you could talk to and get advice. So we were able to know at least what's going on. This generation, they don't have that mentorship and people who are literally walking with them and holding their hands. And because of Google, the world has become very unforgiving. We are not teaching you, but we expect you to Google everything. There are some things you cannot Google. You can only know by experience. That gap and that miss in connecting and showing them the how and connecting with them as humans first is why we are seeing
like
as spike.
I like what you're saying, because that physical touch, because I keep on saying, you know, even like I tell my children, you know, if you want to apologize to someone, don't do it via text.
Thank you.
Go see them.
Yes.
Because if you see them, you got the benefit of your voice,
Yes.
your tone,
Yes.
and your facial expressions.
Yes.
Nothing beats that.
And you'll see it in my eyes, the
Yes,
genuineness.
you can see
Thank you.
the reality of
Thank
this
you.
guy is really,
Yes.
is really sorry. And I
Yes.
tell them, oh, if you want to say you're sorry, come and see me.
Yes.
Don't send me a message about it.
Yes.
And because I see, you know, I have sat in public places, you know, you see someone, they're texting, and you know how sometimes you're passing behind someone and you can glance and see their text, and they're sending an emoji where they're laughing. But they're not laughing.
Oh, I know. Oh, like when I look at you, you're not.
You know,
That's true.
they're
That's
okay, they're
I like
texting
what you're
someone,
saying.
and they have sent a smiley. But they're not
And I'm
smiling.
yeah, it's true.
I mean, the fakeness, or
Levi.
they say ha ha ha. But really,
It's not, yeah.
they're not ha ha haing where they are.
Which means then, Levi, we're also living emoji lives that even in a marriage setting, as a couple, you've never seen the real me. Because what I showed you is what was filtered. So you married a filtered version of me, and now I'm afraid to remove my mask because I don't know if you love the real me. So if I enter this relationship because of showing you memes and sharing emojis, I will keep giving you the version of me I think you need, not the real me. Therein lies a problem.
And so when
So even at work, Levi, my boss, gets a version of me I think he needs, but it's not the real me. And then it gets to a place where I can't keep up. I don't know who I have shown Levi CEO I am, Levi husband, Levi pastor. At some point, I'm confused, and I can't act anymore. And therein is a crash.
the crash happens, yeah.
So the crash will be me going into anxiety attacks, me choosing suicide because I can't take this anymore, because all of a sudden, I don't know how to not show up.
The flow gives way.
Thank you. And no one told me it's okay to show up without the filters.
And I guess that explains those people you say, people say, but so and so, but they were so happy. They were singing in the choir,
They looked okay, everything.
Yeah.
It was all a facade.
They're always sending a Bible verse. Those guys who send a Bible verse every morning to everyone, It's like those guys
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
and you have the right quote, And that's why we keep challenging even influencers or people with a huge following. Once in a while, show us your bad day. How is it that 365 days you're always, just came from another event? There's nothing wrong with that.
Headed to the end.
Yes, but also show us your bad days. Because so this society growing up with the people they idolize, think about it. We had the Catherine Kasavulis who were watching on news. They were just news anchors, yeah? We didn't follow their life.
It wasn't celebrity.
Yes. So that's also causing a lot of, why is it my life is not working out yet? Every day I watch Levi on TV, everything is okay. He's always happy. But what Levi is not showing you is the mounting debt I have, my marriage is not working out, so people need to be open and share the other side of their story. Because the more we keep it real, the more, we saw our parents struggling. There's a generation now that grew up with their parents who are rich and wealthy. You can't tell me, what do you mean, Dad, we can't go on a trip? What do you mean we can't fly to Mombasa, we are taking the bus? But I see you with this car, not knowing that Dad is also faking it. So there are a lot of layers of lies and filters and remove that.
So is it too late for us to redeem ourselves?
It's not too late, but we need to be willing to do the work. And we need to be willing to be honest. Because
I see you here, you even put instances where people ask themselves questions, You say anxiety, write about 5 things that you're grateful for today. You take people through it's not just a book.
It's not a book. It's a work, because if the work doesn't begin with me, Levi, I can't expect
daily mental health check-in.
Yes.
What can you do to make today a better day?
Yes.
And then you answer it for yourself.
Yes.
What did you like most about today?
And guess what? That's why it's called daily, because it's not something you do once a year at a retreat or when the office paid for a team building activity. You need to take personal responsibility, because when you start by being conscious, let me use an everyday analogy. In this day and age, what's the one thing everyone knows, even a child who's this high? Sanitize, social distance, wear your mask. We were taught how to take care of our immune system because of COVID. We need to be so clear on how, we need to know our ABCs on how to take care of our psychological immune system. That's something we were never taught in any education system. Every day, when you come in class, good morning class, good morning teacher, how are you? Can we take 5 minutes to check in mentally? Imagine the power of that. So it needs to be brought down practically. When you're doing your status meeting in an office, can we start by checking in mentally before we check in on the status of work? Because the heart, your mind, is like your car engine. You ain't going nowhere. If that thing is down, it's down. We need to treat our mind like that. Give it the seriousness it deserves. And it starts with you saying, every day I'm going to check in. The same way you can follow people on social media, make time for other things, prioritize. If you have a busy schedule, say every Saturday, choose a day, one day in a week. I'll be sitting, go through these exercises and journal and deal, move on. You will show up as a better person, and you will begin healing. And when people see the change in you, they will begin saying, hey, Levi, what's that you're doing? So there's a way where we need to make this common knowledge.
Yeah.
I wish
what about people who say, I don't have time?
You have time. Do you have time to eat? Do you have time to Netflix and chill? Are you getting? When something is important to you, you will make time.
True.
I don't care if it's starting with 10 minutes in your day, you keep increasing.
True.
If exercise, if right now the doctor told you you're dying in August, unless you start exercising, I promise you, you will have time.
I like that. You know, I was telling my daughter, she's 20.
Okay.
I was telling her, look, because she's in college and she didn't call me for so many days. And then she told me she was busy. I told her, you know, if we go to Uhuru's phone right now, and he's the president, we go to his called logs, we're going to find calls. There are people he has called.
That's true. Powerful.
And he's the president.
Powerful. I love that.
And can you be busier than him? He even has people managing his dad.
Imagine.
You know. I'm like, there are people who get calls from Uhuru Kenyatta. He has time for certain things. I think you can't be that busy.
In fact, I tell guys,
You know.
choose that one thing you do every day without fail. If you're a TikToker and you're addicted to it, say, every day before I check TikTok, I will check in with myself 5 minutes. Start, attach it, use the atomic habit principle.
Yeah.
Attach it to a thing you do every day. If every day you know you shower, every day, and that's not for everyone, every day you brush your teeth, attach it to that. Before I brush my teeth, I will check in with myself, brush my teeth. Attach it to an everyday habit, and then it will become your normal.
Yeah. Tell me, can you imagine our time is up?
Oh, no.
We could talk about this all day, and I would really love to have a chat about this. First of all, before you go, where do we find your book?
This book is available at Nuria Bookstop. They are in town. There's a link available. If you get to them, they will send it to you. And it's also available at Kayana, a place that is in Chania Avenue, CMA, Africa Building, 8th floor. So it's a working space. It's also available there. So those are the two places that the book is currently available.
Yeah, it's called, if you don't mind me saying, Your Mental Health is More Important. You need to check it out. Nuria Bookstore. Or how do we reach you? On social media?
Yes, I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm at Miss Kare.
Spell that.
MS_KHARAY.
R-A-Y.
Yes.
K-H-A-R-A-Y.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, you can always reach us to reach you. What's your final word to people listening this morning? What's their take home?
My take home to everyone listening is that it's okay not to be okay. You matter, you are important, you are valued, and that don't let anyone cause you to deprioritize your mental health. Take responsibility. Start with 2 minutes, 5 minutes every day, and get the help and support you need.
Thank you for coming, Josephine.
Thank you very much for having me.
We have to have this discussion again.
Yes, please, I would love to come
Because, you know,
back.
1,500 medical workers tell us that we can help them spread the word.
Yes, we can. And we can help them start the journey so that by the time people are getting to them, the treatment they need and the support they need is shorter so that then more people can get the help.
True.
Yes.
True. Mental health issues are real. We walk to that. That's 59 minutes this morning. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay tuned for Leah coming up with Ilosu.